Okay, so moving on from point number 4, we're going to move on to point number 5, and this is out of verse 11, where there are 3 very important or significant stories that you may not have been as aware of. Okay, number 5, this is Cain, and from this we're going to turn to Genesis 4 and read a little bit about Cain. And here we're looking at other examples of rebels who corrupted others and the result. So go ahead, hit pause, and someone read aloud Genesis 4. Okay, moving on to example number 6, Balaam's error. And for this, we're going to turn to Numbers 22 through 25 and chapter 31, verse 16. And obviously we're not going to read through all of those chapters, but I want you to at least write that reference in your there in the column for you to read later. And if you would, somebody read chapter 31, verse 16, please. And then afterwards, then you can restart this video. All right, so moving on to example number 7, Korah's rebellion. And for this, we're going to turn to Numbers chapter 16, if I can have a volunteer to turn to that and read it aloud. Hit pause, and then we'll come back. Okay, so moving on from number 7 to number 8, and this is from verse 12. These are a few examples that you may not have pulled out. I didn't when I read through it before, but again, a few more nuggets of information that are very helpful. So the first one there is shepherds who feed themselves, and that's point number 8, and that's going to be coming from Ezekiel chapter 34, verse 2. If someone could please turn to that and read it aloud, and then you can restart the video. Okay, moving on to point number 9, which is clouds without rain. And for clouds without rain, we're going to be looking at Proverbs chapter 25, verse 14. Someone please turn to Proverbs 25, verse 14. Hit pause and then restart after that has been read. Okay, and finally, we've gotten back to point number 10, which is chaotic waves, or wild waves, that's listed in verse 13. And for that, we're going to turn to Isaiah 57, verse 20. If someone could read that aloud. Okay. Very good. So, hopefully that you have written all of those verses, all those references over on the right-hand side. And if you have time, I would encourage you later to go back and read through those verses and to further enrich it. But at the very least, I hope what you can take away from the study from today is that there is a strong use of referencing of previously established writings of the Jewish culture that Judas uses here to make his point, to make the point that the Lord did his part to let his people, these people that are listed in the examples, know what they should do, and yet they rebelled against that, and so he showed his punishment. And that is going to be the section where we look at these corrupt leaders, these rebels who influenced and corrupted those around them. Again, what I'd like to leave you with is bring you back full circle to the themes that we're looking at in the lesson, which is Judas's charge to contend for the faith that was once for all entrusted to God's holy people. For certain individuals whose condemnation was written about long ago have secretly slipped in among you. They are ungodly people who pervert the grace of our God into a license for immorality and deny Jesus Christ, our only sovereign and Lord. So please take that with you. And next week, what we're going to do is we're going to learn about some specific warnings. We're going to read a little bit more about Enoch and talk about him just a little bit more, and also a more recent warning from the disciples, and put that into some context. All right, have a great week. We'll see you next week.